I call this meeting to order of the North Adams City Council special meeting for Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Fargo. Blackmer.
Here.
Bona.
Here.
Harpen.
Here.
Obasahan.
Here.
Olaskowitz.
Here.
Sapienza.
Here.
Shea.
Here.
Wilkinson.
Here.
Okay. 8 present, we have a quorum. Please rise for a moment of silent remembrance and the Pledge of Allegiance. And the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hearing of visitors on the agenda. You will have 2 minutes. Please give your name and address for the record. And please keep your comments brief. Try not to repeat what everyone else has said. Otherwise, we'll be here till midnight. And try to be thoughtful and not accusatory. And I guess that would be it. So who would like to approach the mic? Go ahead. Yeah. No, you can go. You're the first one to raise your hand.
Hi, my name is Marianne Alizio, M-A-R-I-A-N-N-E, one word, A-L-I-Z-I-O. I live at 150 Ashland Street, and I want to be on the council with Colin Todd, or I'm blocking his nomination. Because the living conditions are unbearable lately. I live there. I watch what goes on. I know what goes on. I am not safe. I think I've been here 2 weeks ago saying the same stuff. So I don't know why I'm here again. And I don't think any of you showed up to see what I'm saying. There's 5 heroin needles outside my window right now. There was only 4 yesterday. Okay, I'm breaking up fights in the middle of the night. I've had the cops pounding on my door at 11 o'clock at night. I'm in bed with headphones on in the other room to avoid the noise, and they want me because my neighbors are complaining that I'm too loud. There's no security. There's one little teenager running around. The poor little thing doesn't even know what's going on. And I tried not to make any noise. I'm trying to retire here. I think I already said all this once before. So I don't know why this meeting is now in secret, but it's not that big of a secret in North Adams because we all know what goes on in this town. So I don't know. I don't even know why I'm here. I just know that I have to be here, and I'm here because there's so many people in that building that don't have a voice. And obviously I do. I worked my whole life so I could retire in peace, and I'm not retiring in peace by any means. So I don't know, is my 2 minutes up yet, or do you want me to continue on? Because I got a bunch of stories. I chased a crack dealer out of there that I've known since childhood 2 weeks ago, 20 minutes after the office left. All right, can I sit down now? Because I walked
Yeah,
over
you can
here.
sit down.
Right, okay.
Yep,
thank
you're
you.
too, yep, thank you. Who's next? I would also remind those in the gallery to please not talk over other people when they're speaking. Thank you, I appreciate it, but I just want to,
I don't have to. Karen's not here for a reason. She doesn't like it.
this is a city council meeting. We are doing the business of the city council. We are inviting people to speak and share their views with us on the issues. Today is a specific issue. Again, I would hope that people would not speak over others and not interrupt when they're talking or interrupt us or make comments while we are deliberating. So who wants to speak next? Mr. Todd?
All right, first and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody who came to support me. Second, I need to express my disappointment in this council with the way things were handled 3 weeks ago. It was ridiculous. Moving forward, I'm here to work with these residents. They come forth to you guys and tell you that all this stuff was dropped to us, which I've never seen any of this paperwork. They don't understand the role as a commissioner. As a commissioner, your role is to adopt policy, is to approve budgets, oversee or supervise the executive director, and make sure you're financially strong. Some of these things come, yes, we know there's problems. We've never said there was no problems. We're working to get that. We just had a community meeting, I think it was a week before our last meeting, in which they were told we're looking into getting facial recognition and thumbprints to get into the building.
Excuse me, I specifically said, let people speak.
I forgot, I'm just trying to.
I understand that, but this is your second time at a meeting where you have outbursts. Please, respect everybody else. They were quiet when you spoke. Please return the courtesy. Thank you, Mr. Todd, please continue.
Again, so we just went over this at a community meeting. Up until a year ago, we didn't have one visitor that came to our meetings. About that time, they formed a tenant association. That tenant association should be having conversations with these people and bringing it to the board, the residents, bringing it forth to the board. They have, to this day, asked to be on the agenda to provide any information about anything going on there. There's some things that are beyond our control when it comes to police. For instance, like when there's a no trespass order. If you're no trespass from somewhere, you don't go there. Unfortunately, that's not the case in this. They have to be afforded the right to go to an apartment if they're invited. Unless they're in a common area, they cannot be arrested. Without things like that, you can't establish grounds to evict somebody because there's no paper trail. There's been comments about just tell them they can't have visitors. Well, how is that fair? That's pretty much, we're working on it. Nothing happens overnight. And all of a sudden, again, this last year, there's been more problems where people are coming forward. But they've never come before. Half of these people that have spoke out about me, I've never met in my life. 5 years I've been on that board, they've never been to a meeting. That's pretty much all I have to say. Again, thank you, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to speak and come back before you.
Thank you, Mr. Todd, for returning and giving us an opportunity to take another shot in conversation about this. Would you like to speak, Mr. Cardamino? Or can you not hear me? Do you want to speak? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know Mr. Todd, and I don't have any feelings one way or another. But this council has voted it down before, and what I would like to know is, has anybody on this council gone down to speak to the residents and investigate some of the accusations that have been made? You know, this is pretty serious, and I would not want to live under those conditions, but I cannot point a finger at anybody. And I just want to know what brought this about, that all of a sudden the council's probably going to affirm Mr. Todd. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? Anyone else wish to address the council? Okay. I'm sorry. Yep.
Michael Malazzo. I've been a business owner here in the city since 1985. On multiple occasions, I've had occasion to have to work with Mr. Todd in his other capacity with the DPW, and he's been nothing but professional and represented this city appropriately and professionally, and actually put a good view on how the city runs. So obviously, you can't expect somebody on a council to be able to address what the police can't do. If it's beyond their power, it's beyond their power. But as far as for being a good person, he gets my vote on doing the right thing at every moment that he can for this city. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, this is your opportunity to speak. Once we start deliberation, there will be no more opportunity. I just want to clarify that because I know a lot of you are new to this process. Okay, thank you. So, Council Paper 12,245-1, a communication from Councilor Wilkinson reconsidering Mayor's Communication Number 36, recommending the appointment of Colin Todd to the North Adams Housing Authority for a term to expire July 1st, 2027. Councilor, would you like to read your communication?
Sure. Communication from Councilor Wilkinson reconsidering Mayor's Communication Number 36, recommending the appointment of Colin Todd to the North Adams Housing Authority for a term to expire July 1, 2027. I bring this before you because I was wrong. I'll be the first one to admit it. We listened to a presentation at our last meeting. I ended up voting no to Mr. Collins. However, after the meeting, I realized we never gave him a chance to speak. We never heard the other side of the story. This is the United States of America, and a man is innocent until proven guilty. There was no proof. All we heard were some unhappy residents. Come to find out, some of them don't even live there. We heard an embellished story by city councilor that some of the accusations were, I found false. I've talked to numerous members of the community and certainly have approached me about this, and they said, you guys are wrong. And I was wrong. So I think we should give, it doesn't matter how you vote on this. I believe we have heard from Mr. Collin tonight, telling somewhat of his side of the story. We've given the residents a chance to tell their side of the story. And I think this deserves to have another vote by this council. Again, you can vote whatever you want. All I can tell you is I was wrong. Thank you.
So would you like to make a motion to?
I'd like to make a motion that we reconsider the appointment of Colin Todd to the Housing Authority.
So,
Second.
to actually appoint.
Well, the
Your
mayor's
motion
going
would
to,
be to appoint.
pardon me?
We have to vote on the appointment.
I understand that, but
Okay.
I thought the mayor was going to, I wanted that to be part of this discussion.
Okay, there's one council paper, so it's all one thing.
Yep.
Okay,
We have, well, I'll make a motion to that. I believe we have a second.
Second.
okay. Mayor, did you want to add anything?
No, I would like to add that, I thank the council for bringing this back to the floor. And, Colin and I have talked about his role. We've talked with the Housing Authority team. And, we're all going to try to work together. And there are some issues that we have to work through. And the Housing Authority is working on better security. And we will continue to have our community meetings. But Colin is willing to step up and help those people, help everyone. And I think he should be afforded that opportunity. I wouldn't have put his name forth if I didn't think he could do that. I think there was a bit of a miscommunication about his role, his presentation, but he's got the biggest heart and he really wants to help people. And I think we should afford him the opportunity to do that. And he would be a good working partner and to help bridge the working relationships between my administration and the Housing Authority administration. And I'm confident in his appointment.
Thank you. Councilor Bona.
I did support Mr. Todd at the last meeting, as I will again. And I think we got to look at two different issues. There are issues that have come up about the whole property, from security to condition. And again, Mr. Todd is a volunteer on a commission, and it felt like a lot was being put on his shoulders at the last meeting, like this was all his fault. And the reason I supported him is I didn't believe that that was the case. That's why I did question. He's a volunteer. And to think that he's here tonight to still say he wants this job after he basically got crucified at the last meeting says something that he really does care, because he's not getting any money, he's not getting any awards.
I think most people would have said, fine, I'm done, I don't need to be part of it, find someone else. So I think that says a lot that he is here. The other thing that I find I say interesting, but that, while I understand, our administration, the housing administration, they may or may not get along, but it seems like they both agree that Mr. Todd is a good fit. So it does seem like he actually may be the best liaison in the sense that they're both happy. And yeah, while they may not both agree with each other, but he's a good middle person to have there. So that's why, again, I will support Mr. Todd. Thank you.
Anyone else? Counselor Harpen?
Yes, I would say that in the last meeting, I did vote against Colin Todd. I personally do not know Colin. I've seen him around. I've never really introduced myself, had a conversation with him, so I could say I really don't know him as a person. I have read a lot of good things about him online, and people enjoy being around him. They have a lot of respect for him, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate that he is working hard to do the right thing on this board. And I do feel as though you are really trying to do that. However, I am someone, I have a disabled brother, so I really see things through a different lens, I guess, because I was brought up with this. So, and I really have, I'm disheartened to see our vulnerable community come forward and I'm sorry, but okay. I have a different lens. And I have I'm really disheartened for these people. And when they came here asking for help. And the thing that really, really bothers me is that they keep saying multiple times that they don't feel as though they have a voice. And that's not right. These are people that live in this community. This is their home. This is their home.
Excuse me, Counselor Harpen is speaking. I understand that, but you need to be quiet while she speaks. You don't have to leave, you just have to be quiet.
I'm really disheartened because, we go there and we see things. I live down the street. I see what goes on there, from the outside looking in on a regular basis. I know things are not good there. I think the whole community knows it's not good there. It hasn't been for a while. But they're trying to bring this forward, and these people are trying to bring this forward in the right ways. They've been doing it for a while. They've gone to the mayor. They've tried to meet with the Housing Authority Board. They've met with the Disabilities Commission. They've met with the liaison of the City Council. They came here a few weeks ago and presented the issues that were important to them. They just want to be, these people want to be heard. They want to have a safe home. And they should, that is important to me. And so I am going to continue to support them, and I want them to know that I do hear their voice. And I do want to do the right thing for these people. And I'm not saying Mr. Todd is not trying to, or anybody else, but there's more that needs to be done if these people have been trying. And I have letters here to the mayor from August that they went to meetings, 3 or 4 times during the year trying to meet with people and resolve issues. They are going about it the right way. They are approaching every possible local and state agency that they can get help with. When are they going to get the help? That's my question. When are they going to feel safe and secure in their home? And so I have to still vote. I am going to keep the vote that I voted 2 weeks ago. And I am going to tell these people that I do hear you, and your voices are important.
Counselor Shade.
Thank you. I wasn't able to attend the last meeting where this vote took place, and I'm sorry that I wasn't. I do believe that Mr. Todd is here and a willing public servant and has been for a long time. I also believe that the concerns of the residents on the properties that the Housing Authority manages are valid concerns. The bottom line is nobody should not feel safe in their home. Nobody in this community should not feel safe in their home. That's an issue that so many people are coming to us and saying, we don't feel safe where we live. I don't believe it's on just Mr. Todd to fix that problem. It's on all of us to fix that problem. This is our community. This is our city. It's all of our responsibility to make sure that people are safe here. The week before the last meeting where this vote took place, I had gone down to the complex and met with several of the people that live there. Heard them tell about the conditions and the problems that they're going through, and tried to help them understand that unfortunately, because of the way HUD is set up, there's very little that can be done on a local level to address some of their concerns. Most of it is at a state and even federal level where a lot of the things need to happen. I believe Mr. Todd to be a great public servant, worked for the city for a long time. I also believe that the Housing Authority needs to do a better job advocating for the residents and getting the help from the state and from HUD to fix these problems. So if I may ask a question through the chair to Mr. Todd. Mr. Todd, my question is, do you promise to do your best to advocate for these residents and get them the resources they need?
Always do.
That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Councillor Basahan.
Yeah, so at the last meeting, I was also one that voted against the reappointment of Mr. Todd. And I would say this, that my reasoning for doing that is one, the voices that were in the room at the time that really have voiced their concerns, it poured out their feelings to us. And as a person who is quite familiar with kicking and screaming and yelling to get your voice heard, it was all too familiar. And that was something that kind of hit me. Just listening to the residents about unsafe living conditions that were there. Again, no one deserves to be unsafe in their community. And that's one thing that I take seriously as well, is that, if you can't find peace in your own home, then there's no peace at all. And now me understanding that there are certain things that is out of Mr. Todd's control, and I, would also agree with things that Councilor Harpin said, and then also Councilor Shade has said around that, those voices of our residents are very important, and I'm hearing them. And that even with, you promising to, listen to the voices and making sure that we are taking care of the residents there. I also understand that there are certain things that are out of your control in making that happen. And but I also understand that you just don't volunteer to do something if you really didn't care. I've volunteered on a number of things, and even though I'm spread very, very thin, it comes from a very good place in wanting to do that. And again, that goes back to getting my voice heard and amplifying the voices of those who normally do not have a voice. And seeing a room full of people, this is very concerning for all of you. So, I'm paying attention to that. And, the last meeting, there were the 3 or 4 voices that were here. But now seeing that there are so many here that are very passionate about this problem that is on the agenda today, I think that I'm paying attention to that. And if we can move to a place where we can work together in making sure that our residents, and I know it's not with just the committee and that board, but also with our public safety, making sure that we can provide some livable conditions for our residents. But I know that it's going to take a team to be able to do that. So we can definitely form this team in accomplishing, in doing that. But if I understand that there's somebody that wants to be in the forefront of that, and Mr. Todd, you coming back and just even after the vote has been passed, and you coming back and expressing your passion for wanting to do this, I see it, I do. But I hope that we can work together on being able to, again, provide a safe environment for all of our community members.
Thank you. I want to go through the council before I go back to you, Mayor. Thank you. Councilor Sapienza and then Councilor Bona.
Yes, okay. One of the last places that people shouldn't feel, one of the places you should feel safe is home. And if you can't feel safe in your home, there is no refuge. And I understand that the conditions in the building are not what they should be and not what they're supposed to be, and we need to work together. One of the other things I want to say is I was one of the people that voted against Mr. Todd, and afterwards the decision to vote that way did agonize me, and I'm seeing that Mr. Todd cares about this position. He wouldn't volunteer if he didn't think it was something it was worth doing, and I want to encourage him to do the best that he can. I also encourage the people that are here tonight. We have 8 counselors in the room. Please don't hesitate to contact any one of us. We are your representatives. We are your people. We are the eyes and ears of the government for the people of the city of North Adams and the residents of the Ashland Park Apartments and 45 Spring Street and any other resident in the area. And I just wish to let folks know that it's going to take some cooperation. Mr. Todd and his board, the Housing Authority itself. If we need to, even let's include our federal and state legislators in this process too, to get them involved. And maybe we can see more of a difference if we have more of a group involved and more involvement from all sides instead of just one side or the other. Everybody work together and try to get this and try to fix the problems in these buildings. Thank you.
Councilor Bona.
Yep. Through the chair, and I don't know if this can go to Mr. Todd or a representative of the Housing Authority, but just a couple questions. One, how many board members how many seats on the board? I don't know if someone wants to speak to that.
Mayor, do you want to answer?
Okay,
So go ahead. Do you want to go, Lisa? Yeah.
5.
Okay, you need to go to the mic. The mic's for people at home, not for us.
Yeah. And of those 5, how many does the city appoint?
We appoint 4,
4.
and 1 is a government appointee.
Okay. And there is currently 1 or 2 open seats
There are 2.
beyond this?
No, there's the governor's appointee and 1 open seat.
Okay. So there are currently 3 members there
With we reappoint Mr. Todd,
with
yes.
Mr.
3.
Todd. Okay. And again, this is an appointment we're talking about one person. It's a multiple person board. So to say that one person is at fault. Through the chair again, and again, I don't know which one wants to respond, but so what we're hearing is also, concerns or complaints about security and maintenance. And can you, in a couple lines, sort of say things that have been improved over the last couple of years? I mean, I do believe one that I'm familiar with is there's definitely been more cameras added.
We add at least 10 more cameras every chance we get.
And how many now?
Gosh, we have at least
153 cameras.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so there's over 100 to 150 cameras. Okay, and those are constantly being new and upgraded. And then I think there was some discussion that they're going to do facial recognition now for people entering the
We're
building.
getting, we're in the process of getting quotes. We have to have so many quotes. We have to put it out to bid. But there will be facial recognition and a backup fingerprint. So then the problem with people handing out their key fobs for people to get in the building will be obsolete, and then.
Excuse me? She's trying to answer the question.
The,
This is democracy working.
the other security improvements, public safety improvements,
We have a full-time security company that has worked, and we just had them switch their schedule, so they're not there at the same hours every time. So they're there from 6 to 12 one night, 3 to 6 the next night. It's a constant rotation.
and then how about like maintenance issues that are brought up? Like, I'm sure that's just a constant thing, but.
Maintenance issues that are brought up when people put in a work order are, if they're not an emergency, they're still done within 48 hours.
Okay.
Okay, I want to make some clarification here. We're appointing, I understand that there have been complaints and there are concerns about the housing authority and the particular buildings, but it's not up to us to micromanage the housing authority.
For clarity, I'm making a point because the majority of what we have heard on complaints are not so much against, it is about the property. So I'm just making it clear that these are things that have been being worked on. And that, you know, under the current board, there are. Now, it doesn't mean there can't be more, but, you know, we've heard that things are being neglected. We heard that people aren't being listened to. We heard that these are reasons why some people are not voting for Mr. Todd. And what I'm getting to the point of is there are things that are happening and there are improvements. So it's not that nothing is happening and that the board it seems to be doing their job to make it
And I
work.
agree with that point. I just, we appoint people to the wastewater treatment plant. We don't, to serve on that board and that commission. We don't go through and say, somebody gets appointed to the planning board. I don't like the way they voted. They approved that building down the street, and then there was a problem, so I don't think they should be reappointed. I think we have to take our role back a step. I agree that we want to address concerns, but we are voting on someone to be able to be appointed to this board, and we have to keep that in mind. That's what we're doing, and we're not in a role to manage the housing.
And I'm not saying that how they need to do the job. What I'm
Point of
getting to the
order.
point of is
I
that.
think the point's been made.
Yeah. So-
Maybe 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Can we please move
Well,
the
I let him
question?
finish his thought, so.
Well, then
his
I'll ask
question.
some questions too.
So, and then final, through the chair, Mr. Todd, are there qualifications that you bring to the board that other people may not have?
Well, for starters.
Excuse me,
Up to
I'm
the-
sorry, you have to speak into the mic. The mic is for the people at home, not for the people here.
For starters, I believe in the entire county, there's myself and Commissioner Ukta are the only certified commissioners even in this county to serve on a housing board. We've done that through NARO, which is, they do training and everything. So
When you mean certified, like,
you're actually certified to be a commissioner. You actually go through, they go through all the roles, what you're responsible for, and then they certify you nationwide so that you're good to go.
so pretty limited,
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. I'm done.
And Counselor Harpen?
Yes, I do have a question too, whoever would like to answer. Is the Tenants Association allowed to be on the agenda? And if so, how long do they get to speak?
The tenant association is allowed to be on the agenda when they bring something to put on the agenda. As you stated in the stuff that you have there, not once have they come to me and asked to speak at a meeting. So I don't know where they're saying that they brought stuff to the board and it hasn't been addressed, because in the 5 years I've been there, I've never been approached to put anything on the agenda. I spoke to the tenant association president multiple times and asked her if there was anything she wanted to put on there, and she never puts anything on there.
Okay, so if they email you,
Yeah,
then, and they have something they want to put on the agenda, they will be able to put that on the agenda
Absolutely.
without a problem?
absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Counselor Shade and then the mayor.
First, thank you all for coming tonight. I'd love to see more of you at our regular meetings. Great to see so much community involvement. And I think this is the answer here. The community is here showing up because we see that there are problems, and we know that we need to work on it together. In hearing everything that we've heard tonight, I think a lot of questions have been answered as far as some of the concerns. And I think there's still a lot of concerns that still need to be addressed, and it's going to take all of us to try to solve them because not one person has all the answers. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens going forward, and I do hope that more of the residents of these properties show up to meetings, talk to us, tell us what's going on, show up to the Housing Authority meetings, speak out. These are public meetings. Everybody should get to participate who wants to participate. And it's important that voices are heard and that people are part of the process. So I just want to encourage everybody to keep coming, keep talking to us, keep making your voices heard. Thank you for your time.
Mayor?
A big part of tonight has been around communication. And I just wanted the council to know that that was a big conversation point when I spoke to Mr. Todd about his reappointment. And Marie, I'm glad you asked the question about the Tenants Association because we did talk about that and a willingness to have them part of their meeting. But just so you know that when complaints or concerns come into my office, they get dispatched, whether it be to the health department, the police department, or to the housing authority directly. And one thing that we haven't done is loop in the board because we handle them at a ground level. We handle them at an administrative type of level. With that being said, when I talked to Mr. Todd about some of the concerns, he said, I'd like to be part of that loop. So there is that willingness to communicate better. And the Housing Authority in my administration, I think it was last month or the month before, had a meeting with both apartment houses, and we're going to continue to do that quarterly. It includes the housing staff as well as the health department, police, fire, and Mr. Todd. So we're really working on trying to communicate more and talk more with the residents. It's a process, but it's a process that I think all of us are willing to navigate and work together. But Colin can help us with that, and he's committed to doing that.
And just to clarify, Mr. Todd is also the union
Yes.
appointee.
Yes, he will
Because
be.
one person on the board has to be a member of a union.
Correct. He represents the Teamsters. I don't know your local number off the top. 404.
Thank you. Anyone else on the council wish to speak? Then we have a motion and a second. We can vote. I'm not sure. I think people are going to want a roll call vote on this. So go ahead.
Barbaugh. Bona.
Yes.
Harpen.
No.
Obasahan.
Yes.
Olaskowitz.
Yes.
Sapienza.
Yes.
Shade.
Yes.
Wilkinson.
Yes.
Blackmire.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you all for coming out and supporting the Housing Authority. And a motion to adjourn would be in order.
Second.
Counselor Sapienza, Counselor Olaskowitz. All in favor?
Aye.